Hey, I'm Jake, and today I want to talk about something that can completely transform the way you communicate: how to speak a new language with ease. Have you ever felt stuck, as if the words you've learned just refuse to come out when you need them the most? Maybe you spent countless hours memorizing vocabulary or studying grammar rules, yet when it's time to have a conversation, you freeze. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many learners struggle with this, and it can be frustrating. But here's the great news: you don't have to spend years waiting for improvement. With the right techniques, you can boost your speaking skills in no time. So, what sets confident speakers apart from beginners? Is it that they know every single word in the language? Do they speak perfectly, never making mistakes? Not at all. In fact, experienced speakers mess up all the time. The real difference: confidence. Skilled speakers trust their ability to communicate, even when they make errors. They don't stop when they stumble, they keep going. And that's what makes them sound fluent. Imagine this: you're sitting in a cafe in Paris, chatting effortlessly with a local. The conversation flows smoothly, and you're not pausing to think about every single word. You're just speaking, expressing your ideas naturally. This is the kind of fluency we all dream of. How do you get there? The answer might surprise you. It's often about making small adjustments in how you practice rather than making huge, overwhelming changes. You don't need to completely change your study habits. You don't have to memorize thousands of words. What you need is a few simple methods to help you build confidence. So, where do you start? The journey to fluency begins with one critical foundation: belief in yourself. If you don't feel confident, speaking a new language can seem like climbing a mountain. But here's the truth: confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop. And I'm here to help you do just that. Here's a little secret: anyone can improve, no matter where they're starting from. If you've ever felt too nervous to speak, this guide is made for you. We'll take things step by step, breaking them down into simple techniques that you can start using immediately. By the end, you'll feel a new sense of ease when speaking. Before we dive into specific strategies, let's take a moment to understand why confidence is so essential. When you believe in yourself, the fear of mistakes disappears. You stop holding back, and even when you do make errors, you see them as learning opportunities rather than failures. Every conversation becomes a stepping stone to improvement. One of my favorite quotes is from Nelson Mandela: "I never lose. I either win or learn." This mindset is crucial when learning to speak a new language. The more you engage in conversation, the more comfortable you'll become. And soon, speaking will feel natural. Now, you might be thinking, but what if I don't feel confident yet? That's completely normal. Confidence grows with practice. The more you speak, the better you get, and the more at ease you'll feel. Here's a small challenge: set a goal to speak the language every day for just 5 minutes. You can practice with a friend, a family member, or even by talking to yourself. The important thing is to start speaking, even if it feels awkward at first. Over the next few sections, we're going to break down exactly how to build confidence and improve fluency. We'll cover listening skills, shadowing, repetition, and some fun techniques to keep you motivated. And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. Let's start with one of the most overlooked yet powerful techniques: active listening. Many people think fluency is only about speaking, but listening is just as important. Think about it. When you listen, you're not just hearing words, you're absorbing how the language flows, how native speakers structure their sentences, and how they emphasize certain sounds. Strong listening skills make speaking easier and more natural, like collecting the right tools before building something. But not all listening is effective. You need to engage in active listening, which means paying full attention to the details of the language instead of letting words passively wash over you. Focus on pronunciation, sentence structures, and tone. For example, when watching a movie, notice how the characters express emotions through words and phrases. Do they use short sentences or long ones? How do they connect ideas? Paying attention to those details can transform the way you speak. One of the best ways to improve listening and speaking at the same time is through shadowing, a method where you listen to a sentence and repeat it immediately after. This helps train your brain to produce words quickly without overthinking. Here's how to practice shadowing effectively. Pick a short audio clip. Choose a dialogue from a movie, a podcast, or a speech. Listen carefully. Focus on the speaker's speed, rhythm, and pronunciation. Repeat immediately. Try to mimic their tone and pace as closely as possible. Practice daily. Just a few minutes of shadowing can make a noticeable difference over time. Shadowing removes hesitation. Instead of worrying about getting every word right, you start speaking naturally. Let me tell you about Sarah, one of my students. She used to freeze whenever she had to speak in French. When I introduced her to shadowing, she started practicing daily. Within a few weeks, her sentences became smoother and she spoke with more confidence. She no longer feared making mistakes because she had built trust in her ability to communicate. As Stephen Covey once said, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. The more you truly listen, the easier it becomes to speak fluently. But shadowing is just the beginning. There's another technique that can supercharge your fluency: repetition. Repetition trains your brain to recall words quickly, making conversations smoother. Think about how you remember song lyrics. You don't memorize them word by word. You hear them repeatedly until they stick. Language works the same way. Fluency isn't about knowing the most words. It's about using the words you already know effortlessly. Repetition helps you achieve that flow. One of my students, Mike, had a large vocabulary but hesitated when speaking. I gave him a simple exercise. Choose 5 common phrases each day and repeat them 5 times. At first, it felt tedious, but within a week, he noticed a huge improvement. Repeating phrases daily made them feel natural, and soon he was speaking without pausing. Now, let's make practice fun. Instead of repeating words randomly, try using them in role playing exercises. Pretend you're ordering food at a restaurant, introducing yourself at a meeting, or asking for directions in a new city. Acting out real life situations makes learning engaging and practical. Another way to practice is to talk about your interests. If you love sports, describe your favorite game. If you enjoy traveling, talk about your dream destination. Speaking about what excites you makes it easier to find words and express ideas naturally. And finally, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learning a language isn't about perfection, it's about communication. Every conversation, even one filled with errors, helps you grow. To sum it up, build confidence by practicing daily. Improve listening skills through active listening. Speak more naturally using shadowing. Strengthen fluency through repetition. Make practice enjoyable by role playing real life scenarios. With these techniques, you'll see improvement faster than you think. Remember, fluency isn't about speaking perfectly, it's about expressing yourself with confidence. So go out there, start speaking, and enjoy the journey.